No adhamire. Adu matigiogo mata demonstration. Na tuachoka tuuga atiri. Brutalize all the time. Another time. Brutalize. For that is his nature. Chidwe. Hiyo ni demonstration.
Kamwene Forum is taking shape. And Martha Karua, Jeremiah Kioni, and a host of other leaders are busy rallying the mountain not to make the same mistake that they did in 2022. Luckily for them, the people have seen for themselves, because they were hoodwinked, that their problems emanated from Uhuru Kenyatta's mistakes. I am told that businesses have stalled. And you see, the Kikuyu community usually depend on businesses. And so it is crystal clear that a government that they put in place is killing them, is killing their businesses. But that is not the only thing that is happening in the mountain. Martha Wangari Karua is a very angry fellow. William Ruto has vexed her. And this is because Martha believes that in 2022, the mountain gave some substantial votes to the Azimio fraternity, but those votes were stolen. Now, what has angered Martha Karua is the fact that William Ruto keeps on reminding them through proxies that they didn't deliver, that they failed, that they were defeated. And Martha Karua is not taking this lightly. And she has fired a warning shot, repeating the same thing that she has always maintained. That if you believe that we lost fair and square, open this server so that we put this debate to an end. Otherwise, stop reminding us of the electoral mess in 2022. Take a look at the Kamwene statement that is causing panic in the mountain.
No, there is no need of talking about that document if it's not addressing the cost of living, or why would we bother with it? If it is not addressing the invasion of Jubilee by UDA, what is the use of that document to us? We can continue managing ourselves the way you have done it. In any case, Ruto never intended it for good. He's been wasting people's time there. But we also have been using the time to organize ourselves, including many things like you have seen.
Therefore, we have no business at Bomas if those two basic minimums are not met. Reduction in the cost of living and paying fidelity to the law as regards political party. Leave Jubilee alone. Do your own thing and let us do our own thing. Thank you. By talking, by organizing this kind of forums and talking to the people. This is called power of the people.
Partisan talks were a waste of time. It was a diversion of concentration, but we captured the matter very early. We were there to say we want more constituencies, we want Kiambu to be divided into several other counties, but we then later realized that this was just a diversion and time wasting. We are ready. We are going to the ground. We are talking to Wanjiko and we are telling them. In fact, we have had a very easy time because we are not telling them. We are going and they tell us, if you people don't talk, we are going to die.
We are not a political party. We are ready now as a movement, as a forum, to talk on behalf of our people and even to look for things that could be affecting them and look have a proactive way of tackling them.
Education, employment, economic leadership, all that. If they want to join us, they are most welcome. But we don't want them to come in, be disruptive to already what we have already started.
Will you invite the Deputy President?
If he's willing to come, and why not? He's a member of the Mount Kenya region. He's one of us in the Mount Kenya region.
We are united to push for the political, economic and social interests of the people of Mount Kenya. We will not accept politics of intimidation. Kama mtu anataka kutusafirisha kwenda binguni, pengine Mungu atamsafirisha mbele yetu. Yes. Lakini we are not going to be intimidated. No. And anybody who sends attack dogs to insult leaders asking how many votes we got, open the server. What are you fearing?
Open the server.
Open the server, we verify how many votes. Kama ni mbili tutashukuru. What are you afraid of? You cannot continue to refuse to open the server and send attack dogs. And this is to William Ruto, not to anybody else.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, Martha Karua, after elections, has done 3 significant aspects of fight for electoral justice. Number 1, it was Martha Karua who went to the East African Legislative Court in Arusha, trying to compel the court to interpret the Supreme Court ruling, including harsh non-judicial words like hot air, wild goose chase, and she has not abandoned that cause to date. Martha Karua has always maintained that she does not recognize Ruto as the president because she says that the constitution allows him to be the president and the commander-in-chief, but she believes that the elections were stolen, and so in her own very conscience she cannot accept the legitimacy of William Samoei Ruto.
I noticed that you have carefully referred to His Excellency William Ruto, CGH, as former deputy president, not as president. Why?
The law recognizes him, I don't. I still hold the position.
What does that mean? The law recognizes him and I don't.
I have a choice.
To obey the law or
He
not?
is the president courtesy of the law. I do not have to overpraise that position. I differed. I said I respect what the court verdict, but totally disagree with it. I still stand here to say that the results were doctored. Okay?
But then one thing that bothers me is the renewed vigor with which the guilty ones are acting. Wafula Chebukati keeps on tweeting. He goes from one country to the other, giving keynote speeches on how he managed what they call a perfect election. I think after it had been given a green light by their prefect, Meg Whitman, because in Kenya, as long as it has been ratified by the US and the UK, it becomes the alpha and omega. So Wafula Chebukati keeps on tweeting and telling us how he's a hero out there. And there is another renewed vigor where people are reminding the Azimio that they lost in the wake of an economy that is on its knees. And this is what has angered Martha Karua. And I want to support Martha Karua. You see, sometimes you don't wake a sleeping dog. Kenyans have moved on. But instead of this government taking advantage of the fact they have always told us that the IEBC declared William Ruto the winner, and then that win was maintained at the Supreme Court, and then they say very proudly that power was handed over very peacefully and no one went to the streets. Now we agree. Why can't they take that advantage to perpetuate the peace that they say engulf the handing over of the presidency? Because we don't have economic peace today as we speak. In fact, the talk of the day is about the cost of living. Instead of approaching it with sincerity, they have been embarked on propaganda, they have embarked on blame game. And this is what Martha Karua is telling them. If you can't fix it, then just keep quiet. And I don't know why the Kenya Kwanza government still thinks that they are dealing with the fools. I mean, is there anyone who is blind, who cannot see? The question of this, blaming the Uhuru regime, even if Uhuru stole money, let's just assume, are we going to sit back to keep on talking about the past in a government that William Ruto was taking a salary every month as a deputy president? He was traveling in guzzler vehicles as a deputy president. The best thing that one should do whenever you feel that you don't fit into a government that maybe is corrupt, you resign. But you cannot be part and parcel of that government, then you cry foul and you want to take advantage of when you fixed electricity and roads, you want to take political credit out of that. But for the failures you abandon and you want to heap the blame game on the former regime, it is not acceptable. This is a rallying call to Rigathi William Ruto and more so the IEBC. Let us stop these mind games. Kenyans are healing up and elections are very emotive. Let them stop reminding people. And the Kamwene thing is coming with full force. I'm telling you. This is why there is this renewed call that Raila is the one who should be on the ballot, because they are worried about Kalonzo Musyoka. Raila has always been used to scare the mountain for reasons that they don't understand. So now they understand that they have failed, and they know that if Raila will not be in the box, the ballot box, they will not have anything to tell the mountain. Listen, you've seen any time William Ruto is confronted with an issue, he runs to the mountain. Right now they are being asked very simple questions. Show us the documents that you used to sign the G2G deal and explain why you are fighting so much about the Galana oil company. Why? The answer is really ridiculous. The former regime messed our economy. Raila is interested in the oil deal. It doesn't go that way, ladies and gentlemen. And I've seen Martha Karua taking a paradigm shift from the Azimio. In fact, she does not believe in the Bomas dialogue talks. She, as we have always maintained, believes that these were measures to waste our time and diversionary. But I'm happy that they are saying that they took that opportunity to organize themselves. They listened to the people. They showed the people just how corrupt this government is, and they have come up with Kamwene. I'm also happy that Eugene Omalwa, Kalonzo Musyoka have maintained that they will not pen their signatures if the bare minimum, the cost of living, is not going to be talked about, not just talking about, but with a lot of pragmatic signs that the cost of living must come down. And they're saying that if they're not going to obey the fidelity to political parties and coalitions, then it is a done deal. And ladies and gentlemen, this time round, Martha insists that they must go back to the street. But I have a feeling that Martha should allow Kenyans themselves to go to the street so that it is not said this is an Azimio attempt to topple the government. So the Kamwene thing, if you are coming from Central, ladies and gentlemen, is it a force to reckon with? Is it giving William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua sleepless nights? If you ask me, I will say so, because I've seen the way they are behaving. And if we are not careful, I'm sure they might go back to trying to investigate some corruption cases. Luckily for Martha Karua, she has been out of the government for a long time. They cannot find anything. But I know some people like Oparanya, Kalonzo, they might try to find something from the EACC to charge them. There's going to be a lot of intimidation. They're going to heighten propaganda and blame game. But it's only a fool. Not only just a fool. You must be a fool and blind. Those two. And I'm not talking of physical blindness, because I know there are people who have got disabilities. I'm just talking of the being blind to an extent that you cannot discern that this government is corrupt. This government keeps on stealing our money. This government is not serious about resuscitating the economy. So you must be those two. Is there anybody who's watching this channel who can lift his hands and tell me that I'm a fool and I'm also blind? Because you must meet those two conditions to continue supporting this government. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to think about this regime. And I'm talking like this because there are people who are suffering. There are people who are really suffering. But we have a government that can do better. We have a government that can decide to sit down. Because look at what is happening. Raila gave them enough time, and we are no longer talking about the server now, because they have stopped. They're the ones who are, forcing us to talk about server again. But we just want to talk about economic justice. Leave alone even the electoral justice. We know they stole the elections, and that is something that we want to cure it in 2027. But for the economic recovery, they can do better. William Ruto should just decide to kick out those who are corrupt, and it must start with him, and people must see it from the top, and they can help this economy to grow. But if this is not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you, especially to those who still support this government, they are the people who will rule, who will lead us in a revolution, because mahali tunaelekea, it is bad. Again, I want to say, if you cannot open the server, stop reminding us of the last elections.